Good afternoon. And a warning that some may find video in our lead story disturbing. The Toronto Police Hate Crimes Unit is investigating an assault captured on camera aboard a bus in Scarborough. It shows what a Muslim rights group says is a disturbing example of Islamophobia. CTV's John Muslim has been following the investigation and joins us live with more details. John.
Well, that's right, Nathan. In fact, Toronto police are looking into this as a hate crime. It began on a bus here at the Scarborough Town Centre, and it was a Durham Region bus. We're going to show you some video and some of the audio involved here, and you can take a look for yourself of what we're talking about.
This terror. Move terror. What the you look behind me?
What the Hey! You don't get the picture out just because you're a Muslim!
So as you see in that video, it is pretty disturbing. There is shouting, profanity. In fact, the woman is actually kicked by this person who then exited the bus. Now, the National Council of Muslim community is quite upset about this, and we will speak to them about it, but they are saying this is a hate crime, and it's very disturbing to the community. We did have a chance to show this video to some people who use the bus system around here. Here's one person had to tell us a short time ago.
So like this day and age, like you can't really go anywhere without being like racially discriminated. I just feel bad for the lady, and I hope like some like reputations come to those people, like hope they get like arrested or something.
Now, Durham Region Transit say they are investigating. They're also cooperating with Toronto Police on this. We have an interview scheduled with a representative with the National Council of Canadian Muslims. We'll have more on this story tonight at 5 and 6 o'clock. Reporting live, I'm John Muslim, and I'll send it back to you.
All right, thank you, John. A stabbing near Malton GO Station sent a man to hospital. Emergency crews were called to the area shortly before 8:30. Paramedics transported the victim to hospital in serious condition, and so far there's been no word on possible suspects. A high-end sports car crashed near Casa Loma last night. 2 people were taken to hospital, and an investigation into this incident is underway. CP24 Steve Ryan has been following this investigation. He joins us live now with more. Steve, one person has now been charged with impaired driving.
Yeah, that's right, Michelle and Nathan. This happened at midnight on the north side of Casa Loma. Now, this is Austin Terrace. It runs east and west. I'm facing eastbound, and then it's a bit of an L-bend into Spadina Road. Now, I spoke with a family friend this morning who told me what happened, and what he said, this is a single motor vehicle collision, by the way. What he said happened was the orange McLaren, roughly $200,000 vehicle, was traveling eastbound on Austin Terrace. It mounted the curb, and there is some evidence here of a car striking this curb, and then the car continued in a southeasterly direction. It hit this light pole, airborne, and then came to rest up against this wall and this pole here, facing upwards in that southeasterly direction. 2 people in the vehicle, both treated at hospital for injuries, and Michelle, as you said, the male driver was arrested for impaired driving. Now, on social media, and some cameras captured a second McLaren at the scene shortly after it happened. And there were reports on social media that the 2 McLarens were racing. That is not true. This family friend told me that that second McLaren, a green McLaren, arrived on scene shortly after this single motor vehicle collision happened, because he had heard what had happened to his friend, and out of concern, that second car arrived here on scene. So that car was not involved in this single motor vehicle collision at all. This was a single motor vehicle crash. Did not take this turn properly, mounted that curb, and then came to rest at this location. A spectacular crash, and it certainly could have been a lot worse with regards to injuries, that's for sure, but it appears as though this wall and this pole here stopped this vehicle from continuing into this green space on the east side of Casa Loma. I'll send it back to the desk.
CP24 Steve Ryan live for us near Casa Loma. Thank you. One person was sent to hospital following a crash on the westbound Gardiner near Jameson Avenue. Police called to the area just before 2 a.m. Paramedics say one person was taken to a local trauma center with serious injuries. The cause of this crash still under investigation. And the SIU is investigating a collision involving an OPP vehicle, a school bus, and a dump truck in Orillia. OPP say the crash happened yesterday when an unmarked police vehicle with its emergency lights on merged onto Highway 11. Police say the driver of the dump truck, as well as 3 children aboard the school bus, were taken to hospital for treatment. The OPP did not provide further details as the SIU has taken over the investigation.
It remains unclear when residents of an Etobicoke condo who have been forced from their homes because of a burst pipe will be able to return. Toronto Fire says it responded to the building on Annie Craig Drive near Lakeshore and Park Lawn around 10:30 yesterday morning after a pipe burst during maintenance on the 10th floor. Water leaked all the way down to the 1st floor. Still to come on CTV News at noon, Iran has agreed to open the Strait of Hormuz amid the ongoing war with the U.S. and Israel. We will have the latest on this development a little later in the newscast. Premier Doug Ford will now be flying on his own private jet as his office has confirmed the purchase.
They say the nearly $29 million purchase will help facilitate the Premier's extensive travel schedule. CTV's Queen's Park Bureau Chief Siobhan Morris has been following this story and joins us with more. And I'm sure, Siobhan, many are wondering how the Premier justifies this.
Definitely. And the Premier is justifying it by saying he is doing a whole lot more travel and they need to have a more secure and reliable way for him to get to where he's going. This is a used plane, a 10-year-old Bombardier Challenger 650. You might remember the Premier was in Texas just a few weeks ago. And during the election campaign last year, he was in Washington, D.C. The Premier's office anticipates he'll be making more of those trips, especially as he continues to advocate against U.S. tariffs that are hurting the Ontario economy. There's also been many more trips in recent months and recent years, meeting with other premiers and the Prime Minister in different parts of Canada. So the Premier's office says this plane will also facilitate that. Opposition parties, though, think there's no possible justification for this purchase.
Doug Ford has gone from the gravy train to gravy planes. I think it's outrageous that the Premier would be considering spending $30 million on a luxury private plane at a time like this.
When people can't afford the price of milk or gas is $1.85 a liter, the Premier shouldn't be going out and buying himself a private jet. It just doesn't, it's disconnected from the reality of people's everyday lives. There's no justification for this.
The Premier's office says the roughly $30 million they're spending on this one plane is far less than Quebec taxpayers spent on 3 Challengers. This plane will be based out of Pearson and is expected to take to the skies by the end of July. Reporting live from Queen's Park, I'm Siobhan Morris. Nathan and Michelle, back to you.
Thank you, Siobhan. The province, meantime, is expanding GO train service further west of the city. Trains on the Kitchener GO line will travel to Stratford starting July 6th. The Metrolink says there will be 1 round trip per day between Stratford and Toronto, with stops in Kitchener, Guelph, Acton, Georgetown, and Brampton. And speaking of the Kitchener line, planned construction this weekend means trains will only run between Kitchener and Bramalea GO stations. Riders can then take replacement buses to access the TTC at Highway 407 station. The Barrie Line trains will only go as far south as Downsview Park, where connection is available to the subway. And speaking of the subway, there are no scheduled closures on lines 1 or 2 this weekend. Officials are still investigating the root causes of 2 hydraulic fluid leaks that disrupted service last week. On line 5, LRT service ends at 11:59 p.m. tomorrow night. That early closure is for planned work, and buses will run.
A new Forum research poll suggests former Mayor John Tory would win if a federal by-election were held in Beach's East York today. The poll indicates 40% of voters would support Tory, followed by newly elected NDP leader Avi Lewis at 31%. Liberal MP Nate Erskine-Smith has indicated he plans to resign the seat in the coming weeks in order to seek the Ontario Liberal leadership nomination.
This riding has a strong NDP bent to it. They've had NDP members in the past. Avi Lewis, he's looking for a seat. This would be a very obvious thing, and it's already out there that he's thinking of running there. So who's going to take him on? This is going to be really someone of great stature. Who else? John Tory. John Tory was campaigning last weekend for the Liberal candidate in Southwest Scarborough. Why was he doing that? He's now an independent, not a conservative. He would be a logical candidate, I think, to run in that riding.
Meanwhile, Tory released a statement which reads in part, "I hadn't seen this and don't know anything about it. I just made the difficult decision not to run for mayor, so Running for anything else hadn't crossed my mind.
Well, the Raptors are set to play their first playoff game in 4 years tomorrow, and preparations are underway for the return of Jurassic Park.
We are going to have such an epic time here. I'm excited to just see the overload of fans that are going to spill in both inside and outside. I'm ready for playoff basketball. I'm ready for Toronto and sport to come together. We are Canada's team, and I think proof of it is what you're going to see at the tailgates.
Very, very excited about this series. The last time we had a playoff series, it was back in 2022, as you mentioned. I was on the coaching staff. We played the Philadelphia 76ers, and now we have a chance to do it 4 years later. So I'm very excited that we're playing Cleveland tomorrow. I feel it's a good matchup, and I'm ready to go.
And you can see behind him there, Maple Leaf Square has already been turned into Jurassic Park for the playoff series. With the Cavaliers, fans are able to attend the tailgate for free, but must secure tickets as part of a lottery draw through the Raptors app. Tip-off for Game 1 of the playoff series is set for 1 p.m. tomorrow in Cleveland.
And we have more news in a moment, but first a look at the forecast. There's a live shot. We've got some clouds, but it is mild. I'm wondering for those who might be heading to Jurassic Park tomorrow how they need to dress, because it's an early day and you never know with this city. Let's bring in Lindsay Morrison with a look at the current conditions. Hey, Lindsay.
Well, Nathan, this may not come as a surprise, but tomorrow we are looking at more in the way of wet weather, and we'll detail that Jurassic Park forecast coming up. Today, though, can you believe it? A dry day. And not only that, but we've got cloud cover clearing. It looks like it's happening from east to west. So if you're joining us from Hamilton, Burlington, Oakville, don't worry. It's just going to take a little bit longer for you to see a bit more sun this afternoon. We're at 15 degrees this hour at Pearson Airport. I do want to zoom in a little closer to the lakeshore today, because that's where you're going to find temperatures just a little bit cooler today. For example, it's only 8 degrees this hour in Oakville. Winds are calm. The light breeze is coming from an easterly direction. Here's today at a glance. 17 degrees the high at Pearson Airport, about 13 down by the water. But yes, change comes again for tomorrow. We're going to talk about showers and the risk of thunderstorms. That's ahead. For now, though, Nathan, back to you.
All right. Thank you, Lindsay. We turn to the Middle East, where there has been a major development. Iran says it has fully reopened the Strait of Hormuz to all commercial vessels for the remaining period of the 10-day ceasefire between Israel and Hezbollah that appears to be holding. About 20% of the world's oil supply is shipped through the crucial waterway. Donald Trump says the American blockade of Iranian ports will continue until a deal is reached to end the war with Iran. The U.S. president imposed the blockade earlier this week after Tehran restricted traffic through the strait because of fighting in Lebanon. Iran says its decision to reopen the waterway follows the declaration of the ceasefire in Lebanon. An end to the Israeli campaign against Hezbollah was a key demand of Iranian negotiators in recent talks. And people displaced by the conflict in southern Lebanon are returning home as the ceasefire announced yesterday by U.S. President Donald Trump takes hold. Health authorities in Lebanon say attacks by Israel on the Hezbollah militant group have killed more than 2,100 people in the country since March 2nd. More than 1.2 million people have been displaced by the fighting.
I don't really trust a terror organization like Hezbollah, but I would like to believe in people and to hope that the ceasefire will last.
I hope that it'll actually change something, but due to the fact that history has pretty much shown us that it hasn't worked, I'm not very hopeful.
Meanwhile, Hezbollah attacks on Israel have killed 2 civilians. 13 Israeli soldiers have also been killed in fighting in Lebanon.
While oil markets react to developments around the Strait of Hormuz, Amazon's new fuel surcharge is now in effect.
We do benefit from the fact that we make energy, and so energy producers out in western provinces and also out in Newfoundland are benefiting from the increase in the oil prices. So there's a little bit of an offsetting effect. Canada is not in as bad a position as many other countries out there.
The fee announced earlier this month will see sellers pay a 3.5% surcharge to have Amazon pick, pack, and deliver their goods. And Air Canada says it's pausing some flights in response to the elevated cost of jet fuel. The airline says prices have doubled since the start of the Iran conflict, and some routes are no longer economic. Those include flights from Toronto and Montreal to New York's JFK Airport. The carrier says they won't operate between June 1st and October 25th and will contact affected customers. But the airline is still offering dozens of daily flights to the NYC area. A Canadian grandfather who spent more than 2 months in an ICE detention center in Florida is now back in Montreal.
CTV's Judy Trin has more on how last-ditch efforts to prevent his deportation failed.
An unintended homecoming for Douglas Dixon, warm but forced after being deported from the U.S.
Family and friends, that means everything. That's the support that got me through this.
Dixon has not lived in Montreal since 2005. Now he'll be couch surfing until he gets a job and can afford a place of his own.
We're going to have what we called la garde partagée. His sister will have him for a little bit, I'll have him for a little bit.
Dixon spent 65 days in immigration detention centers, including the notorious Alligator Alcatraz, where he was housed with 32 people in a cage. By the time he landed in Canada, he had lost 18 pounds. Dixon was arrested by ICE for unpaid taxes. 4 years ago, his smoothie cafe shut down during the pandemic. In 2022, he pled guilty to tax evasion. Dixon was making monthly payments, but still owed $12,000.
It was blindsided, and in my opinion, he was a victim.
His hockey teammates wrote letters to the judge vouching for his character and offered to pay off his debt.
What could we done? Well, we would, hey, let's have a GoFundMe. Let's have a charity hockey game to help out Dougie.
But it was too late. Under U.S. law, defrauding the government of more than $10,000 is considered an aggravated felony and grounds for removal. Dixon, who has a green card, is now banned from the U.S., separated from his wife, his children, and grandkids.
My wife is obviously going to follow her husband, and my son said, Dad, I can't believe what this country has done to you. I'm not staying. I'm coming back also.
At 61 years old, Douglas Dixon is now forced to rebuild his life in a city he left 2 decades ago. Judy Trin, CTV News.
A one-time payment intended to help lower-income Canadian households with the high cost of living is coming on June 5th. The federal Liberals will issue a direct payment equivalent to 50% of the full-year value of the government's existing GST-HST credit. Any family that already receives that quarterly tax credit will get a one-time top-up automatically. Ottawa says a family of 4 with a net income of $40,000 will receive $533. A single person earning $25,000 annually would get half that amount.
There's more fallout from a W5 investigation into how one man was able to marry 4 women without getting a divorce.
Now, more women are coming forward to share similar stories of dashed marital dreams. CTV's John Woodward has the latest.
A woman we're calling Sharon got married to her husband in BC in 2020. Now she doesn't think the marriage certificate is worth the paper it's printed on.
It's quite the roller coaster. It's a really tough one.
She said she moved with her new husband near Kamloops, BC, but soon her online sleuthing discovered he had more marriages than he was letting on.
There was one that I knew about, the other 3 I didn't know about.
3 of his 4 previous marriages didn't end in divorce, she said, meaning including her, he's still technically married to 4 women in Canada and the U.S.
You don't even know this person, and you realize you've been conned. You've been deceived, and you go, what is true, what's not true?
Sharon is one of several women who contacted W5 in the wake of a story about one man who married 4 women in a row and never divorced any of them. Each marriage license issued to Jason Washington and his wives was issued by provincial authorities, who say it's not their job to check even their own databases to see if there's another marriage on the books. Quebec is the only province that requires officiants to look. Advocates say issuing these bigamous marriage certificates could be putting women's safety at risk.
What we don't want is for the provincial government to create an opportunity for predators, frankly, to misuse this opportunity to do harm.
A future spouse doesn't actually have the power to look into these registries.
Family lawyer Hilary Angrove says a lot is riding on trust, and if later spouses try to get assets in a divorce, a court may not recognize their claim.
The only person who has rights in this scenario is that first marriage.
Police in Delta, BC confirmed they'd received a complaint about Washington and would investigate. Washington already has convictions for assault, uttering threats, and manslaughter. BC officials said no bigamy charges had been laid in at least a decade. As for Sharon, she wanted to get her marriage annulled, but officials in the Kamloops courthouse needed proof that her husband wasn't previously divorced. Some states wouldn't provide it.
So although it's illegal in Canada for bigamy, they make it impossible to follow through.
A situation she wouldn't wish on any other woman.
John Woodward, CTV News.
Well, as we make our way through the rest of the day today, we hope to see a little more in the way of sunshine. That sun is trying its best out there right now. Here's a look at our evening and overnight at a glance. Partly cloudy skies by the evening, and then overnight, yes, the fog is expected to return, but we will remain on the mild side with a low of 10 degrees. As for tomorrow, here's the tailgate forecast for Jurassic Park. Yeah, not only do you probably need a rain jacket, but we need to have eyes on the sky tomorrow for the possibility of thunderstorms. We're going to talk about the possibility of flurries into the day on Sunday when CTV News at noon returns. Stay with us.
When you see it happen, send it to CTV News. Text 10400 from your screen to ours. Text 10400.
Well, Mother's Day is still several weeks away, but a local artist is already setting up an exhibition inspired by the annual event. CTV's Jessica Smith joins us live now with more. Ooh, I love a Mother's Day idea, especially with lots of time.
Listen, we like to plan ahead, and we know that moms are very busy. Moms, mother-like figures in our lives, and planning ahead, I think, is key when it comes to getting mom the right gift or having the right outing for your mom or the mother figure in your life. I'm joined now by Jilly Francis, and I want to ask you about your work because there's three very distinct themes that all come from the idea of nature and natural elements, and I love how calm I feel when I look at your work immediately.
Yes, so there's three different series that are going to be in this upcoming exhibition for Mother's Day. My Sky series, my Ground series, and my Rain series. And they all touch on themes of surrender, of attention, and the passing of time.
We're going to go inside and take a look, and I'm going to get a bit of a demo from Julie, but I'll let you guys take a look out here. But we'll go inside, and I want to ask you about the process of creating some of these, because I do feel like you've got such a cool opportunity here to use really natural elements, and people can come in and see, you know, from your Sky series, the stuff that you made on that actual day. So say your mom's birthday was on a particular day. You might have a picture from there.
Exactly, yeah. So the Sky series is one where I began it when I became a mother. So I'm really trying to hold on to myself a little bit and hold on to time as it's passing. So there's a daily sky painting for every day of the year from 2020 onward. So about 6.5 years.
That's a lot of pictures. So we're going to do a bit of a demonstration here, but talk to me about kind of your process and when people come to the exhibition, what they can see.
Yes, so along with the Sky series, there's my Ground series. So you're going to help me create a piece from the ground here today. So all of the ground paintings are created with natural pigments. So I would go on walks with my kids, we would collect things, and to try to hold on to them a little bit longer, I would dry them, grind them, boil them, and turn them into inks.
All right, so what's the first step in creating something? I promise you guys, I will stick to what I do, which is talking all the time, and I'll let her be the artist, but I'm gonna get a bit of a demonstration here. But I like how you use natural elements and you're taking things from the outside and bringing them in. So what's kind of the first process here?
So yeah, once things are collected and dried and turned into inks and ready to go, I'm brushing water on this cotton paper here. And the beauty of the Ground series for me is all of these colors, all of these elements are vulnerable to one another. And I think there's a lot of metaphors in that. As they touch one another, they change one another. And it's a lot like us, it's a lot like life. I think when I became a mother, it was during those dark pandemic years. And so I was really desperate for the world to sort of romance me a little bit. And so I think anyone who has spent any time with a child, whether you're a mother or not, knows that anything through the eyes of the fresh eyes of a toddler is endlessly interesting. And so we would, go on walks and be fascinated by the color of a stone or the curve of a stick, and we would collect these things. And so,
all natural. I love it.
Yeah.
Well, the show is coming up again Mother's Day weekend. It's at Kiko Studio on Dundas Street West. We'll have more information on everything tonight at 5 and 6. I'm going to create some art. Maybe tune in later to see it. I can't promise it'll be good, but it will be from the heart. I'll send things back inside to you guys.
Hey, if we did it,
what's
same
next?
thing, or at least myself. I admire anyone who's got artistic ability because I have little to none. How about yourself?
I don't know. Yeah, it's nice to express yourself, right? Yeah, I'm sure that you're talented. Stop it.
Yeah, in other ways, perhaps, but not
you're not
when it
doing
comes
portraits.
to. No, I'd love to, but I can't.
The talent of an artist is subjective, right?
Yes.
So we think that you're very talented, and we haven't even seen your work yet. Let's talk weather. Finally, a dry day. The rain has felt endless. I know we have been drenched. Many different parts of Ontario, really struggling as a result of all that rain with some flooding. Today, not only is it dry, but we hope to enjoy some sun this afternoon. And if we get it, hold on to it because there's a little more active weather on the way for the weekend. Weather is brought to you by the Presler Law Firm, injury lawyers. You don't pay unless they win. It was a pretty cloudy and foggy start to our day today. This is what it looked like early this morning with the CTV News chopper flying high above the city. But yes, at least for a change, we didn't have heavy downpours. We didn't have thunderstorms waking us up in the overnight. And the fog in places not quite as dense as it's been the last couple of days. A reminder that while flooding is less of a concern around the Toronto and Region Conservation Authority areas, it is still worth mentioning that rivers and streams are continuing to run a little higher and faster than normal. So these are some spring safety tips. Of course, outside of the GTA, mainly north and east of here, spring flooding is a real concern. So do take care. Be cautious if you're traveling to Muskoka over toward Peterborough. Here's a look at the satellite and radar for today. We are continuing to see cloud cover clear. We're going to see a bit more of the sun around downtown Toronto over the next hour or so here. However, we've got another low pressure system developing, waiting in the wings to impact us for tomorrow. So once again, we are looking at rounds of showers, a few thunderstorms as well. I'll get to that, what's in store on Sunday in just a moment. But as far as rainfall amounts are concerned this time around, maybe 10 to 15 millimeters here locally. A little less the further north you go, a little more around Niagara. Timing wise, here's 6 p.m. today. It looks great. Enjoy that. Into tomorrow, perhaps as early as the morning for some, we're going to see a few showers arrive. The steadier rain happens through the afternoon. So again, anybody heading to Jurassic Park, likely going to want some rain gear to stay dry through that experience. Always fun, though. And then into Sunday, generally it is a drier day, but we are looking at scattered showers and maybe some scattered wet flurries. The temperature is going to be significantly colder that day. In fact, we could be waking up Monday morning to a temperature near -5 degrees. Enough about that for now. It is 15 degrees on the plus side this hour at Pearson Airport. 17 is our forecast high for today, about 13 by the lake. Your weekend forecast looks like this: 19 degrees tomorrow for the high before we drop to +1 Saturday night and into Sunday. And then it is going to be a chilly start to next week, but at least we have many sunny days to look forward to next week as well. That's the weather for now. Nathan, over to you.
All right, sounds good. Thanks, Lindsay. The Blue Jays have lost 5 consecutive series, but hope to turn things around in Arizona tonight.
Squares again, and he gets it down. This is going to get a run home. Perfectly executed by Heineman as Jimenez comes in to score.
The team wrapped up a 3-game series with the Milwaukee Brewers yesterday. They ended up losing the game 2-1. Jays lefty Eric Lauer is expected to get the start. First pitch for tonight's game against the Diamondbacks is set for 9:40.
And as the Raptors get ready for tomorrow's game, the Toronto Tempo and the City of Toronto have announced plans to develop a dedicated performance center for the new WNBA team. The facility at Exhibition Place will serve as both the team's high-performance training home and a community hub. The new space will be located just steps away from Coca-Cola Coliseum and will feature 2 WNBA regulation-sized courts, advanced training and recovery spaces. The city says the facility will also improve access to recreation for residents while reinforcing the city's status as a hub for women's professional sports.
For far too long, women teams have not had access to facilities like this. And today we're changing that.
And something beautiful is going to happen here also. On the same court where the elite athletes train and compete, Torontonians will play. Year-round access to recreation, programming, and public space. 2,200 hours of programming every year for the public.
The city is providing the Tempo with a long-term lease for the land the practice facility will sit on, but it's not contributing financially to the project. It is scheduled to open sometime next year. A live look outside on this Friday in the city. You're watching CTV News at noon. More to come. Stay with us. Iran's comments saying the Strait of Hormuz is now open have sent stock markets soaring on both sides of the border. The S&P 500 leaped 1.3% as Wall Street rallied to finish off a third straight week of big gains, its longest streak since Halloween. The Dow and NASDAQ are up even more, while the S&P TSX is up around 0.65%. The price for Brent crude oil dropped more than 10% on news the Strait was reopened. It's still sitting around $89 U.S., up from $70 per barrel before the war.
A coalition of parents, schools, and unions in Quebec is calling for a ban on selling energy drinks to teens.
It comes following the death of a 16-year-old who died from complications after drinking a can of Red Bull. CTV's Stéphane Giroux explains.
If it was up to many school principals in Quebec, it would be illegal to sell energy drinks like these to teenagers, just like cigarettes.
We've been banning them at the school for nearly a decade, but now to see that it can actually, for a lot of these kids, lead to something as serious as arrhythmia and even death.
Zachary Miron was an athletic teenager who died 2 years ago during a ski outing after drinking a can of Red Bull. He was on ADHD medication. The mix caused a heart arrhythmia, leading to his sudden death. His story turned his parents into activists to restrict the sale of energy drinks.
Oui, je sens que la tragédie commence à réveiller le monde.
Every tragedy is a wake-up call, says Miron, who's gathered 16,000 signatures on a petition to ban the sale of the drinks to children under 16. Dozens of brands are available on store shelves, many containing more than 4 times the amount of caffeine found in a cup of coffee. Just last week, a family in Texas launched a $1 million wrongful death lawsuit against an energy drink maker after their daughter, Larissa Rodriguez, also suffered from a caffeine-induced arrhythmia.
It was really hard. This is the hardest thing that I've ever gone through in my life.
The medical examiner did 100 different tests, all negative, and the only finding was caffeine.
2 weeks ago, Zachary's parent met with Quebec's Health Minister Sonia Bélanger, who said the government is seriously considering banning the drinks for people under 16. It couldn't come a moment too soon, according to educators.
We've done it in the past for cigarettes, for vaping, for screens.
Because for some parents, one preventable tragedy should be enough to force policy change. Stéphane Giroux, CTV News.
The Ottawa Heart Institute is launching the next phase of its 1 Million Canadian Hearts initiative.
It's a national effort to screen adults with no signs of heart disease to try to prevent future heart attacks and strokes. CTV's Peter Sperling has the story.
Please have a seat.
Andre Ann Martel has good reasons to look after her health.
I think I'm quite healthy, I'm quite active, but you know what? I want to live a happy and healthy life for my kids. I have very young kids and I want to live a long time for them. Just a prick of the finger there.
She's attending a screening to identify any cardiovascular disease risk factors she may not be aware of.
If there is something that I should worry about, I want to know about it sooner rather than later.
Thursday's clinic taking place at the Vanier Community Services Centre for employees. It's part of the next phase of the Ottawa Heart Institute's 1 Million Canadian Hearts initiative.
It's all about prevention.
The screenings are offered to adults aged 18 years and older with no known heart heart disease.
We're aiming at people who don't already have cardiovascular diseases and hoping to, promote some lifestyle changes or any little tidbits of information we can give to them to reduce the risk of developing it.
Participants identified as needing follow-up care will be referred to their primary care providers or connected with specialized programs at the Ottawa Heart Institute.
It's really here that we can provide tips of to intervene to ensure that it does not progress to disease. Now I want to do your blood pressure.
Appointments for screenings on site at the Heart Institute can now be booked online. The program is also working with partners to expand into the community.
And thank you so much for participating.
So there can be more clinics like this one.
We're offering free screening to our employees through this wonderful partnership. And I'm here because I also care about my heart health.
Peter Sperling, CTV News.
Still to come, Justin Bieber set to hit the stage at Coachella again this weekend. We'll have those details when we come back.
Get Toronto's top stories, breaking news alerts, and watch live. Download the CTV News app.
Well, excitement sure is building around the Toronto Tempo, who are set to hit the court for their first preseason game at the end of the month. And for more on the buzz the team has created online, we're joined live now by Sam East, host with 99.9 Virgin Radio for Chronically Online, our weekly segment. Sam, great to have you on. What is all the talk around the Tempo?
You know what, Michelle, before we even get into it, I hope that as a city, as a country, we band together to give this team as much hype as we do the rest of our teams, right? There's enough room for everyone to shine. And this week, the Tempo was definitely shining. So they acquired Kiki Rice from UCLA out of this draft. And immediately upon that big moment happening, she got a special message from a Raptors legend.
What's up? This is Vince Carter here, and I want to say congratulations to you on making history and being a part of history. You're about to do something special, not only for your family, but the city of Toronto. You get to represent that Toronto Tempo. You get to represent the city of Toronto. And everything you do will be upheld and cherished and loved. Enjoy the moment, enjoy your night, but remember, you are a part of history.
Imagine getting that message from a Raptors legend, basketball Hall of Famer, Vince Carter. Obviously, he means a lot to the city of Toronto. And speaking of the city of Toronto and surrounding areas, we also got a message from someone on the team who is local, Kia Nurse.
What up, Tempo fans? Kia Nurse here, and man, I am so excited to finally be able to play on home soil and play for Canada's first ever WNBA team. Little me in Hamilton 20 years ago, this would have been in my wildest dreams. And I wouldn't even have thought this was a possibility. So this is absolutely insane. And I think it's so incredible that we're going to continue to grow basketball here in Canada together. And this next generation of young athletes gets to see in person, especially our young women. They get to see what they can truly be.
Oh,
I mean, that's so lovely, right? To see this piece of history unfolding before our eyes. May 8th is the first official game. I hope we keep that hype going.
Oh, I love that. I love that Vince Carter reached out. Love Kia Nurse. I'm from Hamilton, so the whole Nurse family, the pride of Hamilton. It's really exciting, and I have to say, my girls play basketball, and last weekend before their game, the coaches were like, hey, guess what's coming up, the Tempo, and it was so fun to see, you know, in real time, the excitement building, and it is really special for kids and even older women who play basketball their whole lives to finally see this come to fruition. Justin Bieber, we have to talk about him, Pride of Canada as well, one of the headliners at Coachella, which is entering its second weekend now. What's going on out in California?
Oh my goodness, Michelle, there's been so much talk unpacking this performance that Justin Bieber had in weekend one. He made history as what they're saying is the top paid headliner for Coachella of all time at $10 million. They're saying that Bieber fever is alive and well. We don't know what he's going to do for weekend two because it was very nostalgic in weekend one. He had an ode to his old hits from when he was much, much younger at the beginning of his career, pulling up the laptop, going through YouTube, those viral moments that he had. This weekend, is he going to bring out SZA? Is he going to bring out Ariana Grande? we're not sure at this point. We are waiting to see what he does. But as they're saying, Bieber fever is alive and well. His old songs have been charting on streaming sites, streaming platforms in a way that they never have before. And people are really excited, like in this clip right here. So, you know, people are having fun with it. Justin Bieber is back. He hasn't really been performing in a live sense in a really long time in front of these big audiences. So really looking forward to seeing what he does with Weekend 2.
I know, I forgot about that Bieber era with the shaggy haircut. He's really reinvented himself over the years, and his music's great. Sam, this has been so much fun on a Friday. Great to have you on.
Thank you, Michelle. Have a great weekend.
You too. And remember, you can hear Sam on 99.9 Virgin Radio each weekday from 2 to 5. Have a great show.
Thank you.
Well, sharing too much online, it can be dangerous, but people are often unaware that they're doing it.
Now, a group of students in Montreal have developed an app that flags risks before posting. CTV's Sweeta Rassi explains.
Smile.
It's a perfectly ordinary photo of these teenage girls, but watch what happens when it goes through their app.
This image has a lot of risks.
Something you probably didn't even notice. The students have their school crest on their uniforms, and that small detail can be used by strangers online to figure out where they are. So the girls came up with a solution, an app called Safe Trace. Zinyi Zhang is the co-creator.
The AI analyzes potential risks and personal information that can be revealed from the image.
Built by these 5 students at the study, the app doesn't just flag the risks, it fixes them too. Using AI, it scans the pictures and alerts users to anything that could reveal locations or personal information. From there, it's up to the user to decide what they want to remove. And in seconds, the app provides the safe version of the photo.
Say you have a public account and you upload it, people can dox you because they can use this address and say, oh, you live on this street, you live in this city.
The students created the app as a way to prevent anyone from being a victim of doxing, which is the malicious act of sharing someone's private information online. According to the governments of Canada, women are more often targeted than men, and 1 in 3 young women have experienced some form of online harassment. Amelia Leogis is the director of IT.
My hope is that we can show that young girls can change the world.
A free app made by these students to keep all women safe. Sweeta Rassi, CTV News.
And we've got more news after the break. Stay with us.
A play making its Canadian premiere here in Toronto examines second chances for those out of jail and lucky enough to land a job.
CTV's Andrea Case has more on the Canadian stage production of Clydes.
If you're driving along Old Pike Road, do yourself a favor and take a rest stop at Clydes Sandwich.
It's hard enough to act on stage, but doing it while eating?
I'm not gonna lie to you, taking a bite on stage.
That's the thing.
And I'm like, okay, small bite today because I know I got a line that I gotta deliver. And sometimes I'm like, where's water on the set? I need a sip.
Dora Award winners Jasmine Case, full disclosure, she is my niece, and Sophia Walker star in Clydes. CTV News caught up with a cast in rehearsal. Set in a struggling truck stop sandwich shop, Clydes features a group of formerly incarcerated cooks fighting to rebuild their lives under the watchful eye of their tough-as-nails boss, Clyde.
Clydes, it's a truck stop diner shop that I am the owner of, and I hire only formerly incarcerated individuals to work at my diner. And I run it like a drill sergeant. You know, it's the realities of when you get out of prison, things are not easy. So you have a choice. You either step up or you're going to go back to prison.
Case plays Letitia, a single mom of 7 months out of jail.
This piece has taught me that, like, everybody has a story, and we only get a small glimpse based on what people give us. And I think this is a show that's just let me know that
everybody needs to be heard, and everybody's voice matters. And I think that specifically for incarcerated Black women, they are often brushed aside, and they are given the short end of the stick. We're already given that, and then to be incarcerated adds a whole other layer. And so I just think I look at this group of people, and I just have an incredible respect and appreciation for them.
There are laughs and tears in this award-winning play written by American playwright Lynn Nottage.
To hire someone formerly incarcerated or to hear that they have a record, there's a moment. We have to just accept that. But it is the fact that she comes at it with heart opens you up to the idea of everyone deserves a second chance.
Just as the characters find a home at Clydes, from a young age, Walker found a home as a performer. She will appear in 5 major productions this season.
I just loved the arts. It was a place that I instantly felt like it was okay to be myself. And I think that I just held on to that. And having teachers that helped harness that made me feel like, oh, okay, I think I do have potential to actually turn this into a career.
Clydes is on stage now at the Bluma Appel Theatre. Andrea Case, CTV News.
It is dry today, but we do have more weather coming, and wet weather, and enough to warrant a special weather statement.
Yes, so this is new special weather statement issued. This is for tomorrow's rain, and there are rainfall warnings in places where we certainly do not need them, and those are the areas in green there, around Muskoka, over toward Algonquin Park. Here's a look at the satellite and radar. We are seeing some clearing. Enjoy the sunshine this afternoon. There's tonight's low, about 10 degrees. The weekend, though, pretty unsettled yet again. Nathan and Michelle.
All right, thank you, Lindsay. And that's it for CTV News at noon. Remember, you can get Toronto's breaking news all day long on CP24 and at ctvnewstoronto.ca.
For Lindsay Morrison and all of us here, have a pleasant afternoon. I'm Michelle Dubé.
And I'm Nathan Downer. Be sure to join us later for CTV News at 5 and 6. Have a great day.